James Montague, award winner, together with Hawksby and Jacobs from TalkSport. Paul and Andy, great to have you both.
Thank you.
How great does that feel, James, to have in your hands?
It feels amazing. I mean, it's just, I honestly didn't think that I'd win it because I saw the shortlist. It was an amazing shortlist, and especially the Bobby Moore biography, and I just thought there was no way that I'd win it because it was such an obscure title, talking about teams that nobody ever watches or whoever, most of the games I go to, there's like 18 to 20 people turning up to. So I'm overwhelmed. It's amazing.
That's what I love about your book, is that it is the unheralded, it's the opposite end of what we so often see of football. It's the unglamorous side, but it's the really heart-wrenching side at times, isn't it?
Well, this is it. And what I found by going and seeing international football, and this is something that in the past couple of weeks has become more relevant because of FIFA, all the scandals. People think that world football is just full of just villainy and corruption, and there is part of that, without a doubt. But actually, I had to find the real spirit of the game that I fell in love with in the first place. Now, I think I've kind of lost that devotion and love for English football, but I found it in these small teams that really were struggling. And it wasn't just about football, it was about life. It was about, when I met the Eritrean team, who then all fled.
The which team?
The team for Eritrea.
Yes.
So the team in Africa, the North Korea of Africa, one of the worst human rights abusing countries on the planet. And those players, when they played abroad, it was actually the only opportunity they had to leave the country. So they would use that opportunity to flee. So they ended up in a UN refugee camp, and then in Romania, and ended up all together in a small town in Holland, playing in a local village team. And for me, that tells me more about football and the world and life than I can't think of a single area other than football that could reflect that in that way.
Paul, is there something in what he's saying there about going back to sort of the heart of football?
There is. The interesting thing is that we were just talking about it. We had a bit of a wry smile when we saw that James had won. James is the guest on the show. And Andy, you can tell James is a real football romantic. And Andy isn't. He's kind of...
He's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's hard-hearted.
He's got a kind of... He's got a more pragmatic approach.
Let me say it's a wonderful book and it's a wonderful story. But I have a different view. I am a big fan of club football. I'm a big fan of elite, high-level Champions League football. It's the opposite end of what.
But there's a room for that. There's no room for that. Of course, but you want to see the best stuff.
And I always compare it to sort of like saying, well, do you want to go and see West End theatre or do you want to go to amateur dramatics? There's room for both. But in the end, I love the great players of the world. That doesn't mean that these players aren't worth writing about or it isn't a great story. It's just a different view, and we had a really lively
It was an interesting. I mean, you kind of thought you'd come in and it'd be a nice sort of.
Honestly, I sort of
refereed it.
I didn't think I was going to win it anyway. And then when I saw these two guys given the award, I thought, oh, right. Well, I mean, it's a free bar. So
come along anyway.
Let's make the absolute most of it.
It's well deserved.
But it's for me, I love elite players. I love seeing the best. Being in a generation where we can watch Messi and Ronaldo together, and that great Barcelona team and now the great Bayern Munich team. It's wonderful to be alive at that moment, but these are human stories, and those human stories, they transcend time as much as talent transcends time, and that's what, for me, this was about. I mean, a lot of these players, there were a few years maybe they play football and that's it, and they'll go back to whatever jobs they do, but what is it that makes them dream about doing something greater and bigger? And we can all understand that.
Sure.
We love underdogs. We love the world. We love the third round, the first round of the FA Cup.
They're the unheralded ones, aren't they? Tell me then, James, do you think this award might encourage your dad to actually finish your book?
Well, my dad hasn't finished the book, and that's why I thought that Matt Dickinson was going to win, because obviously he'd finished that book first. So he is
not a race.
But we're a family West Ham fan, so so I can understand that. But yeah, hopefully I'll give him a call in a minute. I haven't had a chance. I've left my phone behind. So I text him, Dad, I've won.
Good news travels fast. So
I'll phone him and he'll say, Dad, he'll probably just say, have you got Matt Dickinson's autograph? Text back or something,
Well, you've got something very special there to keep and to treasure. James, congratulations. Hawksby and Jacobs, thanks a lot for coming along as well.